Hello everyone, my name is Vanna, and I am here to address an important issue that still exists in our world today. Poverty is the state of having little or no money, goods, or means of support. Poverty has been around for a long time now, and it is time that we find ways that it can be stopped once and for all. This is a very important issue to me because I see poverty almost every day, and I think that when you haven't yet experienced it for yourself, you'll never understand what a person like any of us may be going through. There are organizations such as the Salvation Army who have helped reduce the amount of poverty that exists. They reach out to those in need and help to provide for them, but also they encourage them and promote teamwork and partnership. Life should be about happy memories and not about having a hard time finding water to drink or food to eat. It's unfortunate because some of these people are better than a lot of us. We seem to take things for granted, forgetting that there are people that are less fortunate than we are. They, unlike us, don't complain much and appreciate the little that they are given. Today I will specifically touch base on the percentage of poverty in the world versus in our city, the consequences of poverty, and lastly how it can be resolved. The UN Food and Agriculture Statistics show that an estimated amount of 195 million people of the 7.3 billion people in the world have been suffering from chronic undernourishment between 2014 and 2016. What is chronic undernourishment? This unfortunately has affected a number of people in the world, and some side effects include increase of fat accumulation in the central part of the body, insulin refusal in adulthood, high blood pressure, and the list goes on. Tyson James, a Toronto politics who hired me, had an idea that if we were to pay all our taxes up front and use that money to pay off for people who receive all social assistance, that they would run out of money on the day of. That money would be insufficient to pay for the needs of these people. Social Planning Toronto wants the City Council to develop a poverty reduction strategy in which many councillors have agreed on. Now I just have some facts about housing and homelessness in Toronto. So there are 604,048 low-income. The average amount for a one-bedroom apartment is $1,010. The annual income needed to afford a one-bedroom apartment is $40,000. And the percentage of singles who earn less than that is 69%. The point I'm trying to make here is that the government pays for the homeless shelters, and so since this money comes from the taxes that the citizens pay, and that a lot of these citizens are living on low income, the government cannot afford for huge amounts of people to stay. Okay. Poverty brings many consequences with it, some of them being malnutrition, lack of access to clean water, and proper sanitation. The conditions these people live in are pretty bad. Many of these causes can be interrelated in a way that if a person was sick and they lack nutrition and water, they are most likely to be even weaker than they already are. Some of these consequences, such as being homeless, leads to that person having no basic education, possibly malaria, and a number of other diseases. These people sometimes die because they haven't been taken care of properly in a long time. Another thing that poverty can have on society is an increase in crime. What do I mean by that? Well, when someone doesn't have something that they really want, it sometimes leads them to do things that they may not want to do and that they will regret doing in the future. Also, people that are poor are sometimes discriminated against. They could be looking for a job, but many places would not want to employ them because 1, they haven't finished school necessarily, or 2, they don't have work experience, or just 3, that they have been living on the streets for so long. All of these factors need to be considered. However, we live in a world where there should be equal opportunity for all people. There are many ways that we can stop poverty from getting bigger than it unfortunately already is. There's a number of organizations that exist that help people who have less and try to rebuild them so that they can, in a way, restart their lives. Some of these organizations include the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, World Poverty, and the list goes on. On top of this, there are also some steps that we can take to build a better future, one that has less to no poverty. These would include creating jobs, to raise the minimum wage, and maybe to support pay equity. By establishing these By establishing these solutions, we can make poverty stop once and for all. One of the organizations that I like the most would be the Red Cross. They provide shelter, food, health, and mental health services to families and communities that are in need of someone to help them get back in the game. What is unique about them, though, is that they provide shelter, food, health, and mental services to families and communities that are in need of someone to help them get back in the game. What is unique about them, though, is that they are not a government agency. In conclusion, I hope that you guys have learned a little more about poverty and how we as a group need to help those who don't have as much if we can. Poverty is a state that no one wants to be in, and so since there are people that are poor, it is up to us to do something about it. Watching ads and feeling sorry for what we see, or walking down the street and seeing someone homeless and feeling bad is not enough. We need to do something, donate, or even create awareness groups so that we can stop poverty. We can do this by starting in our city and building from there. I know that a lot of you guys have good hearts and that we as a community can change something that has for so long been around. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you guys we're going to cut that off. Okay. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you guys all have a great night.